Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to the weekly movie show with the boys Connor.
Hello.
And Benny.
Hi there.
We got some Star Wars news like last week. I'm really enjoying the Star Wars news. Oh wait, Obi Wan's cancelled. It's all over. We'll be talking
Kathleen.
about that. Maybe it's not that bad. We'll be talking about it. Captain Marvel as well. We've got some updates on the sequel. Plus, as always, trailers, question of the week, all that good stuff coming up for you. And also, I just want to say, you guys like this shirt I'm wearing? Huh?
I can't say that far.
Huh? Come on. Come on.
Decast Kez back.
Hey.
I like it.
Well done.
I love it.
New context? Not working out what the best for you?
No, I can only see half of you right now.
So sunburned that his eyes have actually started to peel off.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
We're thinking about doing some merch, guys. So if you enjoy this T-shirt that I'm wearing, because I'm feeling pretty good, let us know because we can do a run or something if you guys want it. So let us know if you want it. We'll make it happen.
If we sell enough of those ones, the next one's just going to be Connor's head.
Oh, dude.
I will buy 10 of them
We
straight
can
up.
get creative. And then on his forehead saying, I'm not around it. That would be a sick T-shirt.
Or just different quotes. You could have like each other's quotes on our heads.
Yeah.
I would love it.
I mean, there's enough area on your forehead as well.
Oh, there's so much forehead.
Let's not start talking about hairlines unless you want to get into it.
Let's so much forehead to go around. Let's catch up on what everyone's been watching. Benny,
Yes.
let us know. We went to see a movie on the weekend.
We did. We went and saw The Lighthouse,
Yep.
which we will get into in our review later, I believe.
Go check that out.
Lot to talk about with that one. What a wacky movie.
Deserving of everything that's being said about it? I'm trying to keep it as vague as possible.
Well worth a watch.
Yep.
In terms of being quite an experience.
I think love it or hate it.
It's
worth a watch.
Yeah.
And I just want to say a quick RIP to Terry Jones, who passed away this week from Monty Python. Don't need to get dragged down into it, but I grew up watching the Pythons, and he always struck me as one of the warmest comedians out there.
Do you know what? I had no idea he died.
It was just after our last episode, I believe. I think the next morning or something.
Yeah.
Completely missed that.
Yeah, they were formative in teaching me to laugh at anything and everything, that nothing was off limits, and that the world can just be a really fun place. So that was really, really sad to wake up to. He was definitely my favorite of the two Terrys in recent years. And what have I been watching this week? As you can see, I'm extremely sunburned. I've been spending most of my time just lying on the beach, so I haven't watched too much. But I checked out, I heard some hubbub around the new series of Doctor Who, which has been airing for a few weeks. I've been really off the wagon on that one. I think I liked the last season a bit. I don't even remember it too well. But I heard that the current episode was kind of a game changer. So I decided to catch up on like all 5 episodes of the season and the special I missed out like a year ago. And I accidentally just watched the brand new episode and skipped all those other ones. And sure enough, it was great.
Cool.
But now I don't know if I need to go back and watch the other ones. But yeah, so I'm kind of really interested in that again.
Who's the doctor at this stage?
Fuck, God damn it, Josh. The woman from Attack the Block.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
This is
Way
her,
to call him out like that.
This is her second season currently. I was just thinking of it before the show as well. Anyway, I also rewatched a favorite of mine, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
Which I'm so happy to report after my 6th or 7th viewing that it is still just as good or better as every other time I've watched it, which is so hard to find in a film. That's one I've always believed all of the hype and more on. I just think that is one of the classics.
It's a very rewatchable movie, if nothing else, but like just to look at that board and see all the little like hidden references to horror films and that.
Everything about it seems so obvious on like, your 5th watch, which of course anything would, but it all just seems, it all just seems so well laid out throughout the entire film. Yeah. And I also watched another cool little thrillery horror one from last year, which I've been meaning to catch, Ready or Not, which you may remember is the one where the new bride gets hunted by the in-laws on the night of their wedding. This one was so much fun, really enjoyable, really cool, nasty little film that just goes into very interesting directions. And Samara Weaving was absolutely fantastic in the lead. I very much recommend this one.
Sick.
It would have been on my my honorable mentions, I think, for last year.
I almost put that on the plane.
Yeah.
I decided no. I said nah.
Nice.
Benny's going to watch that one.
He can let me know.
He's going to tell me if I should watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was me for the week.
Hell yeah! I just watched The Lighthouse this week. So over to you, Connor.
I've been checking out this very cool little series that my fiance actually recommended to me. It's not very often that we watch something that she's watched and I haven't. So that was a bit of a unique experience. It's episodes with Matt LeBlanc and the woman from Black Books. Can't remember her name. Anyways,
Fran in the show.
Fran, yes, exactly. That's her actual name.
Ken,
look, it is about two English writers that have a series that ran for 4 seasons in the UK, and then the Americans want to come in and for them to develop an American version of that.
The Office.
Yeah, and they get, instead of the original person, they get Matt LeBlanc to play the old, or the character's meant to be old and kind of witty, and then it's very kind of, in a lot of ways, very meta, very about the Hollywood scene and the dynamic between writers and producers and actors. And on the surface, it wasn't something I was wildly excited about checking out, but I absolutely fell in love with this series. Really excellent writing. And there's an odd fascination with watching people play themselves. So Matt LeBlanc plays I guess like kind of an exaggerated version of himself. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fascinating to see someone play themselves. I don't know how else to describe
Ricky
it.
Gervais was involved in this, you're saying?
I never said that.
The other day, I mean.
I know because I think it would have been you, George, that mentioned that. And I kind of.
Well, you said that.
No, I never mentioned Ricky Gervais.
Under the bus, George.
One of you said, "Oh, isn't Ricky Gervais a producer on that?" I was like, "Oh, maybe." And I checked it. He's not, by the way. He's not. He's not involved.
Is that how it went down? Huh?
It seems as though yeah, it is.
It
seems
is?
as though it would be something that it would be something that he'd be involved in. But yeah, I couldn't find his name anywhere. It's David Crane is one of the writers / producers who did Friends. But yeah, just a really lovely little series.
Nice.
So you're saying a post-Friends sitcom starring Matt LeBlanc is not only worth a watch, but really good?
Yeah, like, I mean, it depends on what your expectations are going into. I've been very clear that I didn't expect much from this series.
Well, my expectations are a post-Friends sitcom starring Matt LeBlanc. So.
And I mean, look, it is very much a sitcom. Like, don't go in expecting something revolutionary, but it's light, it's funny, it's more well written than most cookie cutter sitcoms, which is kind of what this show takes the piss out of. So
sounds a lot like Extras.
It'd be very similar.
Extras, that was a killer show, man.
Was Ricky Gervais involved in that, George? You sure?
I'm pretty
Just
sure
throw around
you
some names.
said that, and I said I don't know.
So yeah, that's been me. I've just been going through that. Very easy watching.
Cool.
I forgot I watched Oblivion
I saw that Blu-ray sitting
with Tom Cruise. I actually cracked out a Blu-ray. Fuck, Blu-ray looks a lot better than Netflix.
It really does, doesn't it?
It looks so much more crispy.
No.
Do you have a HD?
Yeah, HDMI.
No, like the HD Netflix. How much do you pay a month?
You definitely have HD.
The middle tier one. Or,
There's 4.
You definitely have HD Netflix. We've watched movies on it before.
yeah, it's like the $15 one or something.
Okay, yeah. You got HD then.
But even like Apple, even like buying off the Apple store.
Really?
Just any streaming stuff. Blu-ray looks fucking
It's
brilliant.
just compressed. It's the file compression is just done in a different way, I feel, because this film looks absolutely gorgeous.
Oblivion also just looks gorgeous. Like, I mean,
Killer
there's that to
film.
be said for it.
And in 2013, that is some ageless production design and computer graphics. And a lot of people, they were using some really revolutionary stuff. All that stuff they've been doing on Mandalorian. They did that with their little deck that they live on, that little apartment. They were using projection and
instead of green screen, they have kind of the image live there on the set, at the time. Yeah, which I remember they did for that movie with his like little sky house set.
Yeah.
And which just makes it look so flawless.
And they cycle. I watched the behind the scenes stuff, and they're cycling through. It's like, here's nighttime, here's daytime, here's sunset, and it's like.
But it makes the perspective also look a little bit better in terms of, at least from my point, in that it doesn't like. There's always that green screen kind of blur around the windows, and that you just kind of tell that it's been cut in there.
And the reflection of the glass as well.
Yeah.
There's no green reflection. It's all what it's supposed to be. And I think that's what made The Mandalorian look so great as well. So much of that, I can't believe how much of that was shot in that way. It's pretty insane technology. So anyway, Oblivion, literally the story sucks. Like that story, like the first half hour is cool, but the second half is just really, really average. But the film looks so good. It gets away with it.
I haven't watched it since it came out. I remember liking it through and through.
Give it another crack.
Every bit of it. All right. Maybe I won't.
Visually, it's just that good though.
Writing, it's like pretty average.
And pacing wise as well. It could use a 15-minute little hack.
Just listen to M83 for 15
out of there.
minutes. You're fine.
Huh?
Just sit back and listen to M83 for 15 minutes. It's fine.
Especially the bit where he's like swimming around in the lake and there's no music playing and he's staring at the sun and it's going on.
It's character building, George.
And
Jeez.
on.
Stop being such a negative.
Let's catch up on the news.
On to the news. All right. Got a
big week.
Yeah. Fucking toasty week this week. First up, Captain Marvel is officially getting a sequel set for a 2022 release. Disney has entered final negotiations with Megan McDonnell, who is the story editor for WandaVision, which is a bit random, to write the film, with no director currently attached. All we do know is that Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck are not returning, the directors of the first film. I haven't heard a single person kind of be like, oh, but their unique vision was what really made that movie. They didn't add much to it, unfortunately, because I really liked their previous film, Mississippi Grind.
Story editor's an interesting position. It's not something I'd ever really considered.
Also, it's just another kind of step that they're taking in this new phase that is Scarlet Witch being a huge linchpin, kind of like they're taking the story editor from that show, which is apparently going to be also doing that kind of multiverse stuff that they're looking at making important going forward, and they're bringing that into one of their kind of premier franchises. It's interesting to see where they're going.
Yeah, and in one way, like I'd like to see Megan McDonnell's portfolio to see, how much has she done in writing.
Meet cute.
Sorry?
I IMBD'd her. She's directed one film.
Cool.
Or a video short. Produced one which was Meet Cute, and then she was a miscellaneous crew on The Perceivers. But her let's say resume, as far as I can understand it, and this is a different Megan McDonnell, is incredibly short.
Because what I'm curious to see is Marvel going down a pathway of, we've seen often taking a younger filmmaker and younger writers and whatnot and bring them into the fold early, but they just got rid of Scott Derrickson or whatever happened down there. No, sorry, he left the project due to creative differences. But like, what's going on underneath the hood here? Are Marvel sort of getting more and more and more involved that it's actually stifling the creativity? Are they picking up people a lot earlier on their film journey? I don't know. Maybe nothing like that's happened, but it's just there seems to be maybe a little bit of a pattern forming.
Yeah. Do they have any returning directors for this phase other than Taika and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of a more complicated one?
Yeah, so I mean, 2 is probably big, and they're not small directors either. I mean, particularly Taika with the success of, Jojo Rabbit and all those other films. He's
a heavy hitter now.
Well, he's certainly becoming one, and he's kind of off the. I was going to say be off the beaten track. He's not anymore, but I mean, like he's fairly, I guess, whimsical in his style. So he doesn't seem like the good company man, essentially. So that would be the only spanner in the works in terms of I guess the idea that they're just grooming talent and kind of creating directors and writers and things like that. I feel like if anything, it shows that they're diversifying across the range.
I think it's
finding
awesome.
people that don't have a lot of experience, getting people that do have a lot of experience. People that are working in different genres.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hopefully it pays off, because it's been a long time since we've been without the kind of guiding hand of both Marcus and McFeely and the Russo brothers kind of rallying the entire franchise to a degree. Like 2013, I think, was Marcus and McFeely's first one with Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
And Russo brothers would have been 2014.
Right, they did The Dark World.
With Winter Soldier, they wrote that one. That was their first one, yeah.
Wow.
That's why it was so interesting that had such a big part in Endgame.
Yeah, well, it'd be great to hear if Megan McDonnell is like a few years down the track, one of the, she takes the sort of helm and
one of the shepherds
and is shepherding the projects through. Exactly.
Mm.
We're in a
I think we might be
totally
getting
new phase.
a little bit ahead of ourselves so far.
Well, who knows?
That's the thing. They're just kind of in a position where they don't have that right now for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
So
and
they would be looking within.
Marcus
that,
and
I imagine.
McFeely weren't exactly a big name.
No.
I don't think they have anything of note under their belt other than the Marvel films. So they were kind of plucked out of obscurity.
So a bit more to the point, how are you feeling about a Captain Marvel sequel? Because I like the way they're kind of not announcing these films in the big announcement. They're kind of just laying them down bit by bit.
I'm curious to see Captain Marvel again because I'm not sure where I'd land on it.
Yeah.
I think I'd enjoy it a lot more than I
First
think.
viewing was like, that was great. And then like 6 months down the line, it's like, I hate that movie.
Yeah,
So
I think I'm at like I know I would enjoy it if I chucked it on more because it was a cool movie, but there was just it doesn't have that sort of the legs that you want a Marvel film to have. For
It's like how you'd enjoy a Domino's pizza if you ate one tonight. Maybe you wouldn't feel so good about it tomorrow.
Yeah. That's a pretty good analogy.
I had a bit of a roller coaster with that film because when I first saw it, particularly in the light of everyone saying they hated it before they had even seen it, like we saw a lot of that being like, oh, screw this movie. And we're like, all right, you can sit the fuck down. And so I had a very like positive experience. And then the more I thought about that film, the less I liked it. And I kind of curved down. And then I just ended up somewhere in the middle being like, it's certainly not one of my favorite Marvel movies.
So we know, the only thing we know about this one is it's going to be set in the present day, which means at this point Carol Danvers will be post-Endgame, just a galactic superhero, I guess. It's hard, I can't even imagine what direction they're going to go with this.
I'm very interested to see what they will do in terms of like the big question, and it's never really been answered, is is she like her powers are kind of maxed. It seems like they've maxed out. What challenges are they going to present to her that are going to be fulfilling from a character point of view, while also being fulfilling from a story point of view? Like
Internet trolls.
Yeah.
Just her flying around beating up trolls the whole time. I'd be very happy.
Doesn't matter how much cosmic power you have. Internet trolls are still annoying. I could take it or leave it at this point.
Yeah, she's all the way down the bottom next to like Doctor Strange as the characters I'm kind of least interested in seeing come back.
You're not interested in the second Doctor Strange film?
Now I am. I mean that more from when his movie first came out, before we got all the Endgame and Infinity War stuff, which I think really beefed up him as a character.
Yes.
Beyond that first film.
But I remember rewatching Doctor Strange and having the same feeling that I was talking about before, where I thought I was not going to enjoy it, and I enjoyed it way more. So I think Captain Marvel's in that little.
I was always a bit more happy with Doctor Strange than I think, at least you, Ben.
When we were watching Underwater, nothing against Brie Larson. I think she actually did a great job in the role. I've got no problem with her, but I thought Kristen Stewart, with her blonde hair and her look, she would have been a sick Captain Marvel, and maybe been a little less. Brie Larson's kind of got that girl next door, American girl kind of vibe to her, whilst Kristen Stewart's a little more edgy and alternative. That could have been an interesting little ingredient to add in there with. Captain Marvel's like the perfect being in a lot of ways,
and the feminist angle they were kind of leaning into. It would have been interesting to see them cast someone who's kind of had to deal with just a lot of misogyny throughout her career.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't care about this movie.
Hot take.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah, let's move on.
Alrighty, next up, let's get back to Star Wars. Following on from last week, just briefly, the Star Wars Episode 9 leaks that we went through last week have been confirmed by Colin Trevorrow. He basically just went on Twitter and responded to someone asking about some of the concept art, specifically the one where R2 kind of had his brains blown out on the battlefield. And he was just saying, yes, this is from Duel of the Fates, so he confirmed the title, that was his script. And he just wanted to clarify that he wasn't going to kill R2. He was just damaged.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Bravo.
So we were all pretty much aware that this was legit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys think of the leaks concept art?
Cool.
Yeah, very cool, man.
Quite dark.
There's, yeah.
And actually, like, dark as in the palette chosen. It wasn't a bright, shiny JJ. It was like lots of browns. Coruscant looked withered. And I was pretty pumped on it.
Yeah, I spoke to you guys about this last week. All this, all the releasing of the concept art, of the leaked script notes, everything like that. It makes me, I really hesitate to get too excited about it. Largely because I think that you can boil down a lot of movies to basic plot points and basic concept art, and you would think that, oh yeah, that would be a really cool movie, where in reality it's everything in between that actually makes it a good film. Because there's a lot of films with really great beats and really great visuals for particular scenes that culminate in a fucking mess. And my example that I gave to you was quite close to home with regards to this script, which is the Phantom Menace. I've always thought, or any of the prequels on concept levels are really cool. Like if you were to talk about the prequels just kind of casually, if you describe those films to someone, they would probably be more or less really interested in seeing that film.
So there's these things called midi-chlorians.
I mean, but that's not even like...
Jar Jar walks into Tatooine. He's a poopy.
Those are things that are...
He gets his tongue stuck in the pod
This
race.
is exactly what I'm talking about. These are things that are in between, right? I could show you...
No, but it says that in the Phantom script.
But we haven't seen... This is the thing. We haven't seen the Duel of Fate script. We have some script notes. We have basic beats.
I completely agree with you, and I think it's hard to compare apples to oranges.
Yeah.
I think you can't really go ahead and say
this would have been a better
this
film.
would have been better, but this would have been a better film. Goddamn.
But having said that, so yeah, I'm trying to like tame my like excitement at seeing some of this concept art, because if I think about it, like that, just take that scene with Palpatine, force lightning the entire
Yeah, that was sick.
fleet. That on a concept level, that on a visual level, is just fucking awesome. Unfortunately, it's after someone briefly just said, "Oh, by the way, Palpatine's back."
Yeah, it was good. I like that bit. That's like one of my favorite bits.
You like that little bit of exposition?
Yeah.
With followed
He's
up
back.
with the hold door maneuver.
On the fortnight.
Yeah.
The dead speak.
That's so weird. It's times we're living in.
Yeah.
That was a writer giving up. That was honestly, you could just tell that was the end of the day, and someone was like, "Fuck it."
That was Kathleen Kennedy inking a deal, being like, if this does another Solo, 400 million, at least we got this Fortnite money in the background.
Fucking hell.
We got some more Star Wars news.
We do. So we found out just a little bit after recording last week, I think, that Obi Wan series writer Hussein Amini is reportedly no longer attached to the project, as Disney wishes to overhaul the scripts. Now, this kind of exploded on the internet from every
Exploded
level.
is one word for it.
Saying, ranging from like the series is gonna meet its due date, it's fine, they're just pushing back shooting, to it's cancelled and Kathleen Kennedy, all Star Wars is over forever. Ewan McGregor has actually come in and talked about the rumors on the Birds of Prey kind of press tour. He said it just slipped to next year, that's all. Instead of shooting this August, they just want to start shooting in January, that's all. It's nothing more dramatic than that. Then he follows up with another one. I think the scripts are great. They're in really good shape. They want them to be better. I think we keep our same air date. All good. So this could be anything from
Damage control to
him being completely honest and not knowing what's going on behind the scenes necessarily, to everything kind of just being okay.
Yeah.
And the Hollywood Reporter had an exclusive saying it's due to the fact that the plot points were similar to The Mandalorian. So they were basically saying that in the Obi-Wan series, he found a young Luke of sorts, similar to Baby Yoda, and was there to protect him throughout the series. And they just thought it was too much of a copy-paste.
And that's completely fair. Like if you know,
get your ducks in a row is all I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're looking at that from a producer standpoint, saying, "Hey, we've just released this other property that is very much
How long has
similar.
that been in the cookbook, though? How long has Mandalorian been? Those scripts been floating around?
Does the Star Wars
2-3
universe
years?
strike you as the kind of universe that has someone at the helm that is really thinking about continuity? Like, it's not like Marvel Universe where you've got
Definitely not.
Feige who's looking at all the different tendrils, and even if they miss a lot of tendrils, there's obviously someone saying these are the beats that we need. This is the direction that these projects need to go in. Star Wars feels far more haphazard.
It's very clear that it is.
So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if this is, you know...
There's one thing about continuity, though, and there's a whole other thing about, like, just bullet points in a story. Like, hey, we've got these 2 scripts. One's about to go into fucking production, and there's a lot of similarities here. Like, maybe, you know,
I'll bet you it was
and
someone
including
that-
Deborah Chow coming from Mandalorian, who's going to bring a lot of that tone and feel because it was so successful.
I'll bet you that, you know, this is just my, nothing to back this up on, but I'll bet you it was someone that penned that script well before they knew what was going on with The Mandalorian, what the plot points of that would be, had penned this script, were working around it, and then when The Mandalorian came out, because they're really close to the project, they probably would have just been like, it's not that similar. Because, you know, if you've spent the last year penning a script or doing whatever like that, it's sometimes hard to be objective. Like, no, mine's totally different. It's about
but who
different
about
characters.
the person you're
it's
handing
about
the
different-
script into who's like giving you the notes? It's on them. And I truly think...
If that is even the case, if that's... Because, I mean, that we don't even have confirmation. I
We
mean,
don't.
according to
We
Ewan
don't.
McGregor, scripts are fine. So...
Yeah.
He did confirm that Disney wants them to be better though, so they're definitely
Which could
doing
mean anything.
some rewrites stuff. Yeah.
Um,
I can't believe we're getting a goddamn Cassian Andor series before they can get this shit worked out.
are we actually getting a Cassian
Yeah.
Andor?
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
coming.
locked in for 2021, baby.
With
Son of a bitch.
K2SO.
I mean, surely even the people who love Rogue One are like, I don't really need a prequel of a prequel.
Okay, so you know in Collider's top 10 Star Wars film, Rogue One was number 5 or number 4 or something. Like everyone froths Rogue One.
A lot of people really like it, but
I came out
there's
of that,
mixed opinion on it.
honestly, really happy.
Yeah, you liked it the most out of us.
Yeah.
I feel like you've gone more positive over time.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, there's a
disagree.
lot to say for that film. I think there's a lot of things that they did right. But yeah, you know,
Movie makes me angry.
I just barely am okay with the Obi-Wan series, simply because of Ewan McGregor. There's that kind of place in pop culture that him playing that character fits in. Anything beyond that, I've been really clear. I want nothing to do with the Skywalker timeline, like from Phantom Menace to Rise of Skywalker. That time period in this universe, I think they should just wipe their hands of it.
Even amongst just Rogue One, like Cassian Andor would be like the 5th or 6th or 7th character I'd want to see more of.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Like give me Baze and whatever the names were, Donnie Yen
Donnie
and
Yen.
But
his
this-
mate.
Dude.
This kind of links into, because just before I came to the podcast, I chucked something on YouTube, and I wanted to ask you two this question: in the entirety of Star Wars, what is the best lightsaber battle put to screen? Ben.
Depends on how you define it, because I would say the Last Jedi throne room.
Yeah.
It's not like a lightsaber on lightsaber battle, but I
Yeah,
think it's fucking
that's fair enough,
beautiful.
George.
It would have to be on an emotional level.
Sure.
It would have to be Return of the Jedi, but on like holistically,
Mhm.
it'd have to be Phantom Menace, dude.
Yep. Okay. I was watching this just before I got here. Knights of the Old Republic trailers.
Oh yeah, the twins.
Oh my god, the twins or the other one. The
How good is that twins trailer?
Oh,
That just
I
make
just-
that into a fucking movie, dude.
I literally it sparked a desire that I knew I had, but it just reignited it so
Intensely.
Just this like there is really good content here that exists outside the Skywalker timeline thing. Like, you know, it's 4,000 years in the past. God, expand on this.
You could do 10 years worth of content just in that era.
I saw it might have just been a clickbaity headline, but apparently EA was looking in, or Electronic Arts was looking at making a redo of the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep.
You know, awesome if they are, but just those trailers alone feel more Star Wars than any of these like it feels more Star Wars than The Mandalorian, and I know everyone loves that, and I love The Mandalorian, but I would happily fuck off every single season to come of Mandalorian if it meant that people could work on that project, Knights of the Old Republic project, as a TV series or as a movie.
I think it'll swing in that direction too, because I can see why they wanted to move further away from the prequels and just be really true to the original trilogy with this new trilogy.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense in every way. But just the reception that this has gotten, and all the people coming out of the woodwork who are of an age now where they're the main demographic they want to catch, and they love the prequels now, or, you know, always did, but are more vocal about it now. I think it'll kind of, you know, go back and forth on where it's examining.
I surely hope it doesn't go
in this
towards the
this
prequels.
franchise. No, but in terms of being more about the Jedi and
Yeah.
that world, and less about the original trilogy stuff and characters.
Yeah. And look, if they want to do stuff that's outside of Knights of the Old Republic, I'm fine. Just don't go back to the same characters. Like I think it's such a cowardly move to do this Cassian Andor. Actually, it's so cowardly. Just fucking
Old mate Cassian.
take a risk.
He's been in this since he was 7
Anyways,
or 11.
let's move on to happier news, Ben.
Or
You're going to
4.
give me some happier news, right?
I am. I'm going to give you a more stable franchise, actually, or a franchise that maybe is in a better place. Paramount is developing 2 new Transformer movie scripts at the same time, including one that may serve as a spin-off of Bumblebee.
A spin-off of a spin-off.
Spin-off of a spin-off. Wacky. What would you even spin off from Bumblebee?
I don't know. These are 2 separate scripts that are potentially 2 different timelines or 2 different universes, essentially, of Transformers movies.
Well, I feel like Bumblebee was 2 different universes of Transformers movies.
In one movie.
Yeah.
Bumblebee. All right, he's driving along San Francisco Bridge. Cars everywhere, explosions. And then the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge,
What's
starts
happening here?
folding up. I'm pitching. Starts folding into a fucking huge transformer,
Oh my
and
God.
it's some other shit happening.
They already revealed in number 5 that planet Earth is a Transformer. So I don't know.
When
I don't
did
know.
that happen?
At the end.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it like Mother something or other?
No, it was the. I don't know that much
Cube?
about
I thought it was like a
Transformers
serpent.
lore.
Wasn't there a serpent in there
Cube.
somewhere?
Stop trying to remember that movie. You know you won't be able to.
Fucking hell.
What is it?
At any rate,
Minicons.
you 2 were certainly a lot more positive on Bumblebee than I was. I did not like
I
that
enjoyed
film.
Bumblebee.
It was okay. It was okay.
I honestly think that this series just needs to be put to bed. Obviously it won't be, because they were really, like, everyone was really impressed with Bumblebee. But
if you were head of Paramount, you would not be saying this needs to be put to bed. You'd be saying, get that shit pumping. How many other franchises do you have to lean into? What else can you do?
Ninja Turtles. G.I. Joe.
Connor's like, we're going all in.
they're
on
doing
these-
that as well, so don't
these
worry.
green
They are
motherfuckers.
doing all of these things, yeah.
clearly exploring all routes. God, all the franchises that they got saddled with. Fucking hell.
Hey, Transformers has done very, very well for them.
Used to, yeah.
Yeah. Bumblebee did well.
It did, yeah. What was it, 400 million?
Heading towards 5, I think.
Yeah.
It's decent.
Look, either way, I'm not terribly interested in seeing more of this franchise. I think transforming robot cars has probably been done to death over the last decade. So
How dare you, sir?
I'm happy for them to let that one rest for a while.
I'm
oddly enough more excited for a Snake Eyes movie than I am for this.
I'm curious to see where that goes.
Wow.
My only caveat would be, because I do agree with you, would be that the series has been so unbelievably dominated by one voice and one style, being, of course, Michael Bay, who's done every movie except Bumblebee. And I think Bumblebee was a real breath of fresh air. I thought it was a lot of fun. And
That opening sequence rocked.
yeah, and very different to Michael Bay's films.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see more of these from just other creators, maybe more lower budget ones as well, like Bumblebee was. So I don't want to write it off completely just yet, because it has been so limited in scope what we've seen. We've seen the same movie 5 times and then Bumblebee.
Yeah, it's true.
Taika Waititi's Transformers.
Just
Yeah,
shoot
bring
me
it on.
now.
People would go nuts
San
for that.
Francisco.
In the 80s.
Cool. What's
Set
next?
in the 40s.
All right. Next,
Steampunk Transformers.
Sorry.
Sorry.
They've already done all that shit in the fucking Bay
Have they?
movies, man. Remember when Bumblebee was a Nazi hunter in World War II? Despite
Oh, yeah.
coming to
When
Earth
did
in the
that
first
happen?
movie. I don't, in like the 4th one. Fuck,
Really?
Who can keep up? Or the 5th one. It was the 5th one.
I thought that
Yeah, it
was
was the fifth
that was
one.
Bumblebee.
No, it was the 5th one when they established that there was like the clan of the Witwickens who went all throughout history.
Fuck you.
I swear this happened. Anyway, remember they had that really funny photo of Shia LaBeouf?
I think that we should
Wicked.
The Witwickens. Do you remember
we
that?
should
Yeah.
be
It's true,
forced
it's
to
true.
watch those films again.
No.
No. We've made a pact
I
never
like
to
myself.
on our worst of the year episodes. Anyway, next up, J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot, through its new deal at Warner Media, is exclusively developing both film and TV ideas based off DC's Justice League Dark Universe at Warner Brothers. So this is interesting timing for this announcement, I feel, just because I never thought I would see, like, JJ's been, the worst you could say about him is he's maybe a slightly divisive figure, but he's been pretty well received as a producer and director over the years. But right now, he's probably in his lowest point after this new Star Wars film.
100%.
So
Was his people were a bit iffy on him after the second Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. That's probably rivals this period.
yeah, I wouldn't say that movie had as much exposure as this, though.
Or as much expectation.
Yeah. Whereas this is one of the, the big things in the
Yeah.
world, and everyone's kind of like, it's like such a weird position because everyone, well, I mean, there was a vocal group who hated the last one so much, and now there's so many people who hate this one as well, and some people are converting to like the last one now and hate this one.
That's been the weirdest thing. It's like so many people hated.
Not many,
appraisal.
I assume.
Yeah,
But
so many people hated The Last Jedi, and then when this came out, they were like, "I can't believe you didn't expand upon The Last Jedi." And I'm here sitting thinking, like, I agree with you, but where the fuck were you like a year ago?
So anyway, interesting start point for this project, which is in very, very early days. But George, I know you and I both at least love the concept of Justice League Dark. Guillermo del Toro tried to get one going a few years back. And I generally do really like Bad Robot's output. So I think this is a really cool thing.
I'm trying to think what Bad Robot has done over the years.
I mean, he's
The-
produced quite a bit.
Outside
but-
of, the normal JJ Productions
The-
and the Roboto.
well, it would
Orky
all be
and
JJ
those
Productions
guys.
because that's his
All
production.
the JJ
company.
stuff, the Cloverfield
Yeah, Matt Reeves. He's done a
movies,
few things with.
Mario stuff, yeah. A lot of small
Mission
stuff.
Impossible?
Overlord, I think, was them.
Listen,
Cloverfield.
I think the thing with Overlord. Okay, see, I didn't love Overlord, but there's that stamp of approval, right? It's always going to look good. It's going to
Yeah, it's going to be
tick the box.
a funky little genre piece that other companies may not be producing so much.
but it may have a little bit of its soul sucked out of it.
Mm.
It might be a little
Mystery boxy.
one note.
Yeah.
It might not have the nuance that you're looking for. So I go in with, like, I think this sounds awesome.
Mm.
It's a great combination of IP and talent.
For anyone who doesn't know, and if the name doesn't give it away, Justice League Dark is the DC's kind of supernatural answer to the Justice League team. You're like Constantine and Etrigan the Demon and
More of a horror edge to
yeah,
it.
yeah. Swamp Thing and
Dark
whatnot.
and gritty.
And that's where
No,
the Del
not dark and
Toro...
gritty.
dark and
I said
sparkly.
supernatural.
Del Toro's name attached to that just sounded so quirky and Del Toro-y.
Yeah, he's kind of the opposite of their brand, which is like a lot less of a guarantee of quality, but a lot more character.
Yeah.
So I get a little bit like, okay, this is going to be super vanilla. Is it going to have that like edge that I want from a Justice League Dark?
Mm.
Maybe not.
The way that I look at it, you're probably going to get the same quality of sheen on it as you would have gotten with a Snyder film, but just with better writing and production.
Why did you say that name?
But what about who was it? Was it Roberto Orci who went to the Mummy remake?
No, that was
the other dude.
the other guy.
The other dude.
Yeah.
The other dude in the duo.
Mm.
That was a similar kind of thing. Like IP, the Rad Robot alumni attached to it. Obviously we can't
Is that what
put
you're
all the
expecting out
blame
of
on
this?
him.
Like,
Listen, I'm saying don't be surprised if we get that.
If Tom Cruise's mummy turns up in this.
It's more of
I
a,
mean, but
it's
if you think about it, that would probably be better than, like, if you look at Batman vs Superman and you look at that universe.
I'll watch Batman vs Superman 10 times more over my lifetime than the Mummy. I will never see the Mummy again.
Batman v
guarantee.
Superman
seriously?
definitely
I
had
guarantee you.
a vision to it, at least.
Batman vs Superman is a train wreck of
It
interest.
didn't.
Mammoth proportions.
Yeah, it felt less like there was, studio executives trying to smooth over the edges of it. Like that was a fucking weird movie for a major release like that. You've turned me around on this.
So soon.
Yeah,
God.
well, yeah, no, I
God.
think you make a good point that the Bad Robot does feel a little too vanilla to be doing something that you'd kind of want from more of an underground creator, maybe.
And, it's like the general audience crowd pleaser. And that's what you need to do in the cinema. You need bums in seats. That's the vision. But then when it comes to TV, I'm going to want something a little bit different.
I hope they kind of go more of the TV route because I really liked
Same.
what they did with Swamp Thing on TV, even though they cancelled it after the first episode aired. But then
What are they doing
they
there?
referenced it in the Crisis on Infinite Earths recently. They were
Why
showing
would
all the
you-
different universes and they showed it in there.
What is the point of doing that?
Yeah, I
why-
know.
why do you
let
put
it
that press
air? Let
release?
people talk about it.
Gauge it.
Mm.
You've spent all that capital. It's coming out anyway.
We talked about this on the show. Apparently, it was like a reflex move because there was some weird tax stuff going on. But
Oh, really?
who knows? Maybe it'll continue in some form.
That
Maybe that
sucks.
version of it will somehow leak into one of these things. But
Potential.
yeah, who can say? Anyway, Warner Brothers is all over the place right now because they're working with HBO Max as well,
Yeah.
that new platform that's launching. They
Yeah.
got like a Green Lantern
Yeah,
show.
to hold on to that.
Greg Berlanti. Yeah, good on him. Spreading
Hold
far
on for
far
dear
and wide.
life.
Universal and Blumhouse are developing a new version of The Thing that will adapt the long-lost original novel Frozen Hell. Now, that original novel was released as a much shorter novella titled Who Goes There, which was then adapted into The Thing from Another World.
From 1950 something.
51, which is then remade into John Carpenter's The Thing, the most famous version of the project. But just 2 years ago, they actually discovered the original manuscript for the original novel, which Blumhouse is now going to be making into a new film.
I'm glad it's not like we're doing The Thing. Because I do like the sequel. I've got a soft spot for that. It's not amazing.
So do I, actually. It's by no means a perfect movie.
You mean like the
but-
2011?
Yeah.
The prequel.
The Mary Elizabeth Winstead one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just called The Thing.
Yeah. And but I love the 82.
Yeah.
The Thing. But the sequel's fine.
It's not bad. If-
like I can understand why people are mad.
If they stuck with the original practical effects that
Yes.
they actually fully made for that film,
Yeah.
I think it would be quite a notch above where it is.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
I'd love to see that other version.
There's a lot of footage on it online.
there?
I've found some really cool
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
I'll send it over to you. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's such a sad story.
Yeah.
God, I think that's such a funny film.
But so this it'll be interesting to see how much crossover there is between the original, the original novel, the short story, then the
Yeah.
remakes.
yeah.
I'm thinking this will be very much a standalone thing. I don't know how much connection there is between Carpenter's version and the original novel. I think it's from 1938. I can't.
Have you ever
imagine
looked at
they're
the
too
synopsis of
similar.
the original film or anything? Or sorry, the original
novel? No.
No.
So don't expect Kurt Russell to turn up. That's what you're saying.
Unfortunately,
Oh.
I always do in every movie, and he so rarely does. But then sometimes he does, and it turns into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so you're very disappointed. Anyway,
Excited for this.
Yeah.
Also, whatever Blumhouse
man.
lends their hand to, I'm
Yeah.
always there.
Hell yeah. Next up, Ben Whishaw has teased that No Time to Die connects all of Daniel Craig's Bond films.
So
Oh, God.
this is probably the most non-cued in comment I think of, like, is it just us, or is there a general sentiment that the whole "it was me all along" twist is fucking terrible out of Spectre?
I'm pretty
Did
sure the
people
only
enjoy
reason I'm pretty sure the only reason people don't rail more against Spectre is because it was just so forgettable and crap that they didn't care that much anymore.
So why is he coming out and being like, "Hey, the gimmick that you hated in the last film, we're doubling down
This
on
one's
it."
going to have an even bigger abandoned building with even more photocopies of other actors who aren't in this movie.
Yeah.
With little red lines between.
That's a bingo.
Oh my god!
This comment. The what he's saying is fine.
He's
whatever.
hustling, dude. He's hustling.
But it's
hustling
so
for
deaf.
his movie.
Like, I just feel like
making it
he's
sound a lot
deaf to
worse.
the general sentiment of how people reacted to that previous film.
Yeah, I don't think anyone liked it. I mean, I'm kind of okay with them bringing back Christoph Waltz in this one because
Sure. I mean, you've already
they don't
gone
have to. It doesn't have to be the same thing as last time. He can just be the Hannibal Lecter figure in this movie.
You might as well own it. You fucked up. Just cop it and move on. But
ride the wave.
yeah, I don't know why they think that they need to roll that gimmick out again.
I know. How many viewers even remember all of the Craig Bond films? I haven't even seen one of them. I don't do that with franchises very often. But
Which one haven't you seen
Don't
again?
see Quantum
you
of
can
Solace.
guess which one. Yeah.
Is it Quantum? Yeah.
Don't see that shit.
No need to. Anyway, apparently the movie's also going to be 3 hours long, reportedly, which is
Good fucking lord.
about half an hour longer than the longest one, which is Casino Royale.
Kerry Fukunaga's going to have to bring in the fucking goods, baby.
Yeah, I
because
really hope
3
this movie's
hours
good.
of Bond. Oh, that's stretching it, mate.
Yeah, like even Casino Royale, which is absolutely one of the best Bonds, it does have that fourth act, which is like, there's a lot more movie on this fucking thing than I remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, finally, just very quickly, Netflix has announced a Witcher animated film, The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, from the series creator and one of the writers, and to be animated by Studio Mir, who did Legend of Korra and Voltron, The Legendary Warrior, which was one of the best looking animated
You love
series.
the look of that one.
Gorgeous, yeah. So this is really cool. They're obviously coasting on the popularity of this show and have gotten this together very quickly. I'm sure this will be out well before season 2.
Good work.
No real word on if the cast will be returning to voice this or if it's going to be in continuity. But given that the showrunner's there, I think it's a fair bet it will be.
Must be a fun time to be at Netflix. It's like, hey, this show's popping off. Like,
Let's just commission some more shit.
You go and make some shit happen. Pitch it. We're going to do this. There's this. Yeah, we're doing that. Here's the money. Go. Like, that's fucking cool. And it's not like, I don't know if it'll always be like that at Netflix.
I don't think it has been very much like that. I mean, if you're Raphael Bob Waxberg, you're probably not too happy about your super popular show BoJack Horseman just being cancelled out of nowhere.
Oh, did it get cancelled completely?
Yeah. They do that. It's like their model.
But
They do like
they've had
they do
6
3 seasons. Yeah, but
and some spin-offs as well. Like, I mean, it's
no,
been
totally.
pretty
But
successful.
it's one of their most exactly. So it's weird that they just pull the rug on these things. They do it with a bunch of other shows as well that are less kind of notable. But they'll do 3 seasons of a show that's doing well, and they'll just cancel it because they've got it there on the platform forever. I don't think they feel the need to do more of it.
I guess that almost leans into what I was saying even more to say, like, they're not a hulking vessel that takes 50 years to pivot. They're making split-second decisions for better or worse.
And I think
it's interesting.
we
It's interesting.
always have the complaint. We're always talking about how seasons, like the later seasons, they just drag, and like you get this really bad feeling when you watch a TV series that you love just be allowed to limp on with
You also do
subpar
want that.
storylines, and so you know what? Fuck it. Let's 6 seasons is a pretty big run.
Off with their heads.
Yeah, like
But
fucking you've
people
had your
do
go.
love that final season.
Do you watch
know?
BoJack?
I've watched up to season 5. I haven't finished it off. But while I was watching it, look, that was one of my favorite shows out there. I thought it was incredibly good at going between absurdity and comedy and just like bone crushing depression, and I really appreciated that series. Not terribly upset that it's gone though.
You keen to watch a Witcher animated film?
I kind of am.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot kind of along the lines of Castlevania, but maybe a little more gripping just because into The Witcher right now.
Yeah, and I think this is really great. Like, I mean, from a strategy point of view, fuck, we've got like at least another year until season 2. Let's just give the people something that's going to be quicker to turn out, and we'll fill in maybe some gaps or provide some original content. It's really fun.
What time is it?
It's trailer time.
Oh my God.
Trailer time.
Oh boy.
All right. So first on our trailer list is Vivarium. Am I saying that right? Vivarium. Vivarium. Vivarium.
Vivarium.
Cool little weird project, I'd say. From it's got Jesse Eisenberg and
Imogen Poots, the greatest name in Hollywood.
It's so good,
It's
isn't
a
it?
bit of an art of self-defense reunion, yeah?
Yeah, and very much in the same, I guess, vein of. No, this seems a little bit more absurd than Art of Self-Defense, but certainly as weird, or as kind of offbeat.
Yeah, I thought the concept in this looked really interesting.
Do you feel like the trailer gave away a little bit too much?
Yeah, potentially. I think I was engaged enough before, so a couple things happened.
And I feel as though, you're not reaching a wider audience at that point. Like, I think you're either locked into this concept, 20 seconds into the trailer, or you're not.
I agree.
I don't think the adding of a bunch of those other concepts is gonna change anyone's mind.
Yeah, trailers are a weird business. I would watch 0 trailers if I didn't have to, I think.
If it wasn't for this.
Yeah,
This
pretty much.
monstrosity.
Yeah.
I'm a trailer whore. I'm a sucker for a good trailer.
I am.
Although I wildly enjoy watching a movie knowing next to nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm exactly the same. And every time I've watched a film recently without watching any trailers, I've enjoyed it vastly more.
Yeah. That's why festival reviews are so much better, because no one's seen any trailers or anything for them. But this looks cool. It's definitely grabbed my attention.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
I think the visuals, it's looking really different. It's got that Truman Show vibe to it.
And it looks a lot darker than its kind of initial setup would make you expect.
I was like, is this going to be a quaint little comedy?
It looked a bit quirky, yeah.
Like potentially you could swap in Matt Damon, and it's like, ooh, it's
feels
everyone can go see it at the matinee session this Sunday, and it won't hurt anyone's feelings.
Not only tonally dark, but also visually, it feels very muted. Which is interesting. However, having said that, this is one of those films that I feel like if I didn't I won't go out of my way to catch it. So we'll see how we go.
I'm pumped.
Cool. All right, number 2, we have The Lodge. Now, I narrowly missed out seeing this film actually at the Underground Sydney Film Festival. Is that the one we went to?
Yeah, the Sydney Underground. Yeah, I watched it a few months ago there on my lonesome because you had to bail.
Yeah.
And it was a very cool little movie. I'd already seen a trailer by that point. I think I'd heard all of the praise that this trailer throws at you bit by bit. So I wasn't in that situation where I was super surprised by the quality of it. I think if anything, it probably just met expectations, but. Yeah. I've probably grown to like it a bit more since I've seen it. I'd like to sit down and watch it with you guys, actually.
It certainly looks unnerving, I'll give you that.
It goes places that I think would be divisive, which is very true of these directors' previous film, Goodnight Mummy, which is one of my favorite trailers of all time, just by how spectacularly unnerving it is. And I think the movie itself was maybe a bit of a letdown compared to that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think this is a slightly similar boat, maybe, but some outstanding sequences and amazing performances from the lead especially, and from that bloody kid from It.
Yeah.
I thought this looked fantastic. Looked like cinematography looked very sophisticated and well put together. Looked like an A24 style horror film.
Yeah.
It had that sort of indie art house vibe to it. So it looks cool.
I think, I don't want to be too hard on it. It really was very good. I think maybe one of my only criticisms is it's one of those ones that doesn't kind of get under your bones, under your skin, and stick with you afterwards. Because I was very creeped out in the movie, and then once it's all resolved, I was like, all right, cool, that's great.
Right. Doesn't have that spine tingling.
I like those ones that stick with you.
Yeah, me too. When you're at home and you're like, what was that? God damn it. Yeah. I thought this looks solid. I wasn't sort of, I've got to see this tomorrow. I was like, yeah. If and when I see that, I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Put it on the list.
Yeah.
Cool.
Numéro 3.
Speaking of unnerving, Swallow.
This is trailer of the week for me.
Very, very interesting premise. It details a woman that has an obsession with swallowing different objects, and it's very effective because it goes, starts out by swallowing a marble, but progresses to swallowing some more uncomfortable objects, pins and needles and stuff, and that's just unpleasant.
What was interesting about the presentation of this trailer and the angle they took, though, was that element of the story came in very late. Early on in the trailer, it's about really focusing on this woman who, has ended up becoming a housewife, and maybe she's reevaluating some of the choices she made. It's like, is this exactly what I want to be doing? And her husband's family obviously comes from wealth and success, and she feels alienated and has awkward encounters with her mother-in-law. And then it sort of brought in this other angle, and I was like, wow, this looks fascinating.
Looks like there's going to be a lot to unpack with this one. And don't watch it without me, George, because I could see you wincing just watching the trailer. So I really need to see the movie with you.
You were uncomfortable on that.
Dude, there's something about... I'm not that bad with gore or like hacking up. It's more like little detail-y things or like teeth.
Yeah.
Like I actually have nightmares about my teeth falling out or grinding my teeth so much that they fall out.
There's a difference between over-the-top gore and like
chalkboard, like
there's that unnervingness of like a subtle,
or like cutting in between the webbing of the hands, like oh god,
that's no good.
So yeah,
thank you for that.
This looks really great. Similar kind of A24 vibe. The trailer had a little caption halfway through. It's like kind of like a David Fincher film or something to that effect. Kind of looked like a David Fincher film.
We're at such a high saturation of this indie horror stuff, and I am just not complaining. I love it all.
Bring it on.
We've got some animated trailers as well. So first up, we've got Star Wars: The Clone Wars set to be released on Disney Plus.
Season 7.
I'm not someone that has watched Clone Wars. Almost exclusively for me, it's been scenes that have come up on YouTube. I think I tried to get through a bit of it. Oh God, way back when. Almost when I first got Netflix. And I was kind of underwhelmed by it, to be honest.
Yeah, I bought the whole Blu-ray box set of all of it years back. I maybe got like halfway through it. It is a bit taxing. There's a lot of filler in it. But George, you had the best way of watching through it, I think.
Yeah, there's a few different guides online showing all the arcs, the Darth Maul arc, the Mortis arc, the Mandalorian Darksaber stuff. So you can definitely pick and choose your battles with that. But there's 60, 70, 80% of it is filler. So I'm with you guys there.
But you're keen for this one?
I think, well, number one, the main thing that stuck out to me was the animation. It definitely looks like an improvement. Because I really didn't like the animation of the Clone Wars.
Wasn't amazing, no.
But
especially as a follow-up to the 2D one.
Because I know you didn't like it. Are you thinking there's an improvement here?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, they've very much kept it in the same style, which they have to do, obviously. But just on more of a technical level, it looks pretty advanced from where it was.
Just little
which
tweaks.
Is cool. Clearly, they've put a lot of time and effort, money into it, which is cool for something so fairly niche. Like this was a cancelled series that they're bringing back years later for another season. I like that they're doing that for this Disney Plus platform, which really they should be doing something more accessible. But that's kind of cool.
I'm keeping Disney Plus for this one.
Yeah, good on you.
So
well done.
I'm excited.
When I was playing a lot of Fallen Order recently, and I was a bit more of a Star Wars mode, I tried to get through some of Rebels.
Oh yes,
watched about half an episode. Cool, that's enough. Because I heard so much about where that show goes and how good it gets, and I just can't take the fucking plunge.
I think with Rebels, unlike Clone Wars is it's more like it's less little arcs and it's more like sprinkled in throughout. So obviously each episode they have a little mission and whatnot, but there's more little sprinklings throughout. So it means you kind of have to watch it all. Listen, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I've watched about a season of Rebels, and this is just kind of observe and report, as it were. But yeah, that's the vibe I got. Whilst Clone Wars is like, here's this episode, and it's going to be the filler episode, and they're going to be battle droids and Roger.
A lot of slapstick.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the reasons that I don't really want to get involved in the Clone Wars and Rebels and all these kind of offshoot TV shows is simply because they brought back Darth Maul. It's a weird thing to be a stickler about, but
that's you, bro, and that's why
it is very much me.
That's why we
don't get me
love
wrong.
you. That's your
But
niche.
I don't like that. I feel like they should just. It feels very. I mean, it does feel very Star Wars. You know, they found a character that people liked, and they decided to bring him back simply because they're too cowardly to create, you know, a different character or try and reimagine anything. But I don't know. I just don't like that decision, and it makes me hesitant to dive in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Boba Fett did a doozy on you, huh? Coming out of that Sarlacc pit. Is that in canon? Actually, I don't even know if that's in canon anymore.
No, that would be Legends
Yeah.
at this point.
But they pick and choose. They've brought so much stuff over.
But they've reinterpreted and remade it in different ways. Like they've done a lot of stuff in the comics and
Like
stuff.
Thrawn, for example.
Yeah, like who they've brought through in different media and stuff. They haven't just said this book from Legends is canon.
No. But they take a significant proportion. Like, and it's not just like, here's Thrawn. It's like, it's his personality. It's where he lived.
Yeah.
This is his dad. This is his little space cow that he had on his farm.
They can
when he
kind
was
of
a
pick and
kid.
choose what
Yeah.
exists in this world.
As
And
far
what
as I
doesn't.
know, they haven't readdressed Boba after his death.
I don't think
at
they
all.
have.
Yeah. Probably for
Just
the
wait.
best.
Just wait.
Yeah. 1,000 years is almost up. He's going to get out of that pit.
And one more trailers.
One more trailer. Another Disney Plus piece. It's a Short Circuit. Experimental films. Disney Animation coming out with, I don't know, home brand
Just a
Pixar
bunch of short
shorts.
films. Apparently, there's already 14 or so on Disney Plus, which is cool.
They look nice.
Yeah, they've released them straight away. Yeah, just another example of them doing something that is, I don't think, going to sell any subscriptions necessarily, but is something pretty cool for
cool content.
creators, definitely.
It's one of the reasons that I got rid of my subscription is that there wasn't that kind of filler content. You know, say what you will about a lot of the content that Netflix puts out there, they put it out there, right? And there's always something happening. There's always something new. There's always, you know,
They're good at that.
they are very good at that. And Disney Plus has to be doubly so good at that because they can't rely on taking other people's properties and bringing it in. It all has to be created by Disney. So they have to be creating content regularly to keep that fresh. So I appreciate that they're putting it out there. Maybe
we had
a bit more, and
something
I'll
similar
consider
last
getting
year
back
with
onto
the
it.
Pixar Spark Shorts, I think they were called. Just a bunch of short films from Pixar, from random creators, and a lot of them were really, really terrific. So I might check some of these out too.
They're always fun, aren't they?
Remember that one with the stray
Inventive.
kitten?
Dude.
It's like the best thing I
Put
saw
a
last
cat
year.
in it and I'll
Why wasn't
lose
that in my
shit.
top 10?
All right, let's cap it off with question of the week. This is one from me, circling back to just a couple trailers back. After watching the trailer, are you interested in watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV series? So, like, you don't have to. I'm pretty sure they're going to kind of reboot this so that you don't ever have to have watched anything. I don't think you are going to have to watch 1 to 6 seasons or whatever. Like, are you guys keeping your Disney Plus subscription?
I already
Even
got
if
rid
you
of it.
haven't already unsubscribed?
I've been meaning to unsubscribe, but I'm very lazy and forgetful, so I'll probably keep it.
And you've unsubscribed.
I unsubscribed.
So Clone Wars is down the toilet for you.
It's not worth me resubscribing for. No. It as I said, I'm not wildly interested in this property. From the trailer, it seems very epic from the trailer. But it also feels as though it's capping off a lot that has happened. And this, I actually kind of disagree with you in terms of this looks like its own thing that you could approach it without 1 to 6. This very much feels like the fans of 1 to 6. This is their, swan song.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just because I've seen too much and I know all the characters. But yeah, you could very well be right.
Yeah.
there.
I'd be curious to see which way it does fall because Filoni's such a continuity kind of guy. It'd be weird to see him kind of just start fresh on this.
It just seems to have maybe also the new lick of paint. It looks like it's been updated. It doesn't look like they've just gone, hey, this has been sitting in the archives for 4.5 years and we're just going to resurrect it. It looks like we've been actively developing this, working on it. So I'm curious to see where it lands.
If you tell me, George, that it's worth a watch, I'll think about it.
I don't
But,
know if this is. I don't know if I'm going to go for this one. Like I won't. You're either there or you're not with this one. I feel.
Yeah, it just feels also really oddly low stakes to be going back in between episodes 2 and 3. Like it's already bizarre that they have like 6 years worth of content in between those two movies. Like God, we missed a lot, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic. We already know that it's just going to end in a. No offense, George, not amazing movie where all the Jedi get gunned down by fucking CGI clone troopers.
Order 66. Some brutal shit right there.
Just imagine if you were a character who had 6 years of amazing character development in this show and then you had to just die by getting gunned down in a mushroom forest. Would that suck?
You know
what? Order 66 for as emotional it was, always felt like it should have more impact on me.
It's pretty brutal, man.
It's
savage, dude.
I
They're
mean,
all
it's not
going
that
down
savage.
Dude,
These are characters you don't know.
It's intense.
Kiadi Mundi? Are you serious?
It's visceral.
Do you see the Quarter Crew did a reimagining of Order
that.
66 that was R-rated?
Oh, good.
And there's one with the guy in the plane. Oh, get the kids out of the... Oh, God, no!
They did some funny stuff on that one.
Go check that out. It's pretty funny.
Wait, what were we just talking about? I had something to add. What were we just talking
Order
about?
66 not being as impactful as it should have been.
66. Oh, yeah. You know when Mace Windu and Kit Fisto confront Palpatine?
Yep.
It's like, I am the Senate. That fight scene is the worst fight scene you'll ever see in your days.
Kit Fisto is my favorite Jedi, and he goes down
like a chump.
Does
like
he even get
bitch.
hit? He he trips over and falls on his lightsaber.
Yeah, he doesn't even look like Palpatine stabs him.
Yeah.
It's so weirdly choreographed.
It's bizarre.
They've choreographed it for an old man that can't swing a lightsaber.
Hey, they made it work with Christopher Lee, sort of.
They've replaced him.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's good times. Good times, great classic hits. Guys, let us know. Are you going to be watching the Clone Wars TV series? And with all of this week's stories, chime in. We love hearing from you guys. Hit us up with a question for next week. Go check out our Lighthouse review. Eat something healthy. Go for a run. And catch a couple movies. And we'll see you next week. See you later, Connor.
Bye.
Bye, Benny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.